Hello viewers, and welcome to another Forza 5 video then. So this is a rather risky video for me, but I wanted to show you a learning process now. Quite often when I look at these videos and I see the comments, I see people often saying there's a noob playing a game at a show, you know, why aren't people good at them? And quite frankly, the reason behind that is when you sit down and you play a new driving game and you've never played it before, you're going to make mistakes. Now, if you don't make any mistakes, it means you're not pushing the limit. And if you're not pushing any limits, you won't find the handling limitations of the physics in the car and everything else, especially when you have a very limited time. So this Forza Motorsport demo that you're going to see now is a one-lap demo, and I managed to get 2 laps out of this one, negotiating my way through it. But what I wanted to do was turn all the assists off. Now, what you're seeing here is the Prague demo, and this is the incomplete physics that they were demoing. I don't know if it's exactly the same as E3 or a refinement of E3, I'm not entirely certain. But it's the incomplete sort of physics, but it was to give me an idea of the new cars, what they handled like with the wheel and everything else. Now, if you turn all the assists on, it's really easy. You can any Forza fan, any driving fan will drive around this track and not make one mistake. It really is very solid indeed. And unfortunately, most of the videos that you see are with all the assists on, so you never see the car moving about. You never see the physics and everything else. What you're going to see on this next series of videos, you're going to see myself here learning and how I learn and driving these cars. But you're also going to see an interview with Dan Greenwald that goes into some detail on the game. Hopefully there's some new bits and pieces for you guys there. There's going to be lots of information from Dan before I investigate assists off the new physics for Forza 5 and give you guys a taster of what's to come. So first then, it's onto the racing action and onto Prague. Visually it looks stunning, runs very smoothly, lots of detail there. I was very keen to get on there and also have a go on this wheel. This is the in development wheel, which has been revealed today. So we see the settings I'm selecting. Going through the settings there. Turn the suggested line off. Steering, what have we got here? Normal. I'll go with simulation steering, probably the way forward using a wheel. Traction control off, ABS off, and away we go for the first race. So this is all assists off. Let's just see what it handles like for a start. I've not seen this before. I've not seen anyone using all assists off to date. So let's just see how it drives in the hands of somebody who's driven a lot of Forza. So away we go. Audio is fantastic, and I wish you could hear the audio here. It's brutal, some of the engine sounds, absolutely fantastic. So braking in turn 1, whoa, ABS lock up. Car doesn't stop anywhere near where I expected it to and goes flying off into the barrier. So I now know that in terms of feeling of speed, and I get on the power then, I had no stability management on. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening there? So straight away, the car has enormous power. So it was put to me, obviously, I'm driving a McLaren P1. They don't drive with traction control and stability management off. It's not designed for that. This is a car of the future. We go over a rise here. Look, that destabilizes suspension, sent me into the wall. So if you go too high over a rise and you stay on the power in any way, shape or form, a bit like trail braking over a hump, the body weight of the car was simulated there, so that's what kind of spun me out. So now I know I need to brake earlier into turn 1, and when I come to that rise, slight little lift just keeps the car bogged down. Car moving about, back end stepping out. I'm a bit slower and more tentative on the power now because I know what's happened there. On the power gently, so you're seeing I'm being far more gentle through the corners now, slower for this corner. I don't want the car just spinning out on me, and it really is like I can feel the wheels spinning up every time. We go down this hill here and there's another little bump just there, and that again destabilizes the car, so I'm having to make a little reaction to that. Slow through the slow sections because I don't want to get on the power too quickly, so I'm thinking, right, lots of power, trying to control that through the slow section. That's a lot slower than I expected, so the car understeered through there, and now into the tunnel. And now I know I've got to brake a bit earlier than I was originally anticipating. If I want to try hitting some of these apexes, that's okay. Still a bit wide, but not too bad. In-car view is amazing graphics, as you can see. And the car going wide there, hits a bump, and now it's unstable. I'm trying to keep it stable, no good. Completely lost it. Now, during that whole period, I was slowly backing out the throttle rather than completely coming out, but I still couldn't get the car back under control. So I've learnt a few corners there. it's always frustrating going through this learning period, but when you've never played a game like this before and it's your first go, you have to try and test these limits. And again, over the curb, it doesn't like the curbs. So now you know when you hit the curb, you're going to have to lift slightly or understand the balance of the car. So we drive on now to the finish of the stage, and then in the second lap, I'm going to put it all together and just demonstrate what I've learnt on this first lap. But it shows really when you only have 2 laps to play a game, you just don't have the time to perfection. I noticed a few comments on games like The Crew when people see it and they say, why are you not perfect on your first go? You need to explore these things, otherwise you can't give people feedback. And the big thing with Forza is lots of people are asking me, what do you think, as if I have a definitive opinion on the physics right now. And I think I will give all my reflection once all these videos are up, and I'll go into depth into what I think of it. So far so good. With a wheel, wow, there's bags more to it, and there's a lot more depth I'm finding to the handling than I was expecting. My issue initially was we're struggling with braking distance and feeling of speed, I guess. Yeah, it's strange. It's like you're for a lot of you, it's like you're in a big SUV or something. Sometimes when you're going down the motorway really fast, you don't feel it because you just can't feel the speed. Whereas if you're in an old car or something, you're really low to the ground, you really do feel lots of speed. So I have another go now, and I tell the Forza people, no, I need 2 laps on this. I tell the Turn 10 guys. So I speak to a couple of Turn 10 staff now, and I ask them a bit about handling characteristics and things that I learned in that first run. And I want to show you this uncut rather than just cut it into. I could just show you the second lap and just show you a perfect run, but I think it's worth showing you the learning, and so you can see when I'm driving that it's not as easy as it looks with some of this is soft. So I'm going to do another run now, and I'm going to turn a couple of assists on this time, and you're going to see that in just a moment. I'll be going on with stability management, and that will just help with the rises essentially when the car leaps up like that, and we're going to have, I don't know if we still have ABS on or off, I can't tell on that one, but we'll see that in just a moment. And I accidentally leave the racing line on, but it doesn't matter, I don't know the circuit anyway, but it's more about feel of the car really than putting in a lap time. So I'm chatting here to the Turn 10 guys and talking to them a bit about what they use when they're putting in laps and what works for this particular car, and was a nice balance, because with all assists turned on, it's an artificial experience for me. You're just not getting the depth in terms of the sort of acceleration out of corners and the wheel spin, but at the same time with a car like this it's so powerful. What do we have here? So we have everything off, simulation, steering, ABS on, and we're going to go with stability management only, and that way we still get the spin in terms of traction without the violent spinning of the car if you go over a bump or if you go over a surface change. That was what's really just completely disrupting the car. So is the car drivable without assists? Absolutely. Is it fun to play without assists? No, not at all. You'll just be tiptoeing around every corner. So changing the view now. I get a better feeling of speed from the bonnet cam, bizarrely. It does feel like it's much faster now, but this is fine. I can line the car up nicely with the corner. That's better. Gently on the power this time. You'll see I'm being much more progressive now. So I've learnt that from the first race, just how to improve from the first lap. So I'm coming up to that bump. I'm aware of that now. So you'll see never so slight lift from me. That's it. Just a lift and then back on the power again. Progressively applying the power. You'll see the back end there, a little bit of correction. The back end's already coming out on me despite using stability management. That's just a traction there, so much power. Again here, back end constantly stepping out, but I'm on the power, more progressive now, down the hill, up through the gears, and then down again. I want to get the car in without it sliding on this positive camber, but it's nice. You've got good traction out the corner, down the hill, over the bump. You can see a little lift again there. That's it, down the bump. So there's all this going on while you're seeing the racing action. So it does make it look easier than it actually is. And then so now on the power again, into this corner. I knew this was slower than I expected before, so this time I'm much slower into the first part of the corner, but then I tie it up as a double apex, if you like. So accelerating now into the tunnel. Great sound effects again. Nice sound of it shifting down, the external sound of the car. Not quite hitting the apex where I wanted to there, but I don't know this section very well. Over the bridge, no problem this time. Now getting some speed on the bridge. Great feeling of speed through there. As we dive into these city streets, changing surface. Oh, and a touch on the wall. Alas, the car was a little bit wider than I expected on the camera, but that's no bother. That's just more laps required. Now on the power again. Comfortable with it now, but would prefer to have had a nice clean run. Car understeering a little bit there on the cobblestones, but no matter. We continue on through the lap and complete that run. So what have we learned in that video? Well, we've learned that that certainly some cars are designed to have traction control turned on, or at least some form of system. The P1 is one of those. If you turn everything off on, say, a Ford Focus, easy. But if you turn everything off on a car like this, or one of the super powerful cars, then it's going to be quite difficult. So certainly it's a learning experience in the short term, and I hope to do a lot more laps and demonstrate a lot more of this to you. But I thought I'd show you this little learning process between doing one lap where you spin out, you make mistakes, and then on to the second lap where you take all that knowledge that you've gained, especially to those out there who are not, you know, racers who do it all the time, but the guys who do it all the time will appreciate what you need to get when you have such a short amount of time to demo the game and try it out. But that's it from me for now on this video of Forza. There'll be more from me. There's an interview from Dan coming as well. Lots more action coming very soon.